Chapter 2 Zoe Meets the Drama Queen. Auntie and Zoe tucked their plant journals under their arms and walked down the grassy hill toward the garden. A buzzing chorus came from a row of waist-high flowers just beginning to bloom. The stunning red and purple petals provided sturdy landing platforms for bumblebees. They were busy, crawling all over the insides of the flowers. White powder clung to their back legs like little saddlebags while they moved in a frenzy of activity. They reminded Zoe of her classmates at outdoor recess. She leaned over one of the hand-sized flowers for a closer look. Auntie whispered, "Look for the fairy queen. She's quite dramatic, dressed all in green." Zoe smiled at the silly rhyme and moved closer to look deep inside the flower. A pale green ball in the center was surrounded by a circle of frilly white dancing in the wind. The ball was topped by a delicate star-shaped cap. She squinted and thought she could see the crown of a green fairy. "Is that a fairy?" she whispered. Auntie nodded. "Isn't she beautiful? She's the drama queen," she said, and sat on the warm grass to open her journal to a fresh page. She slid the pencil out of the binding and started to draw the beautiful flowers, humming right along with the bees. Zoe joined her on the grass and did her best to capture the drama queen fairy into her own drawing. "Did you notice how poppies have such a simple and beautiful design?" said Auntie. "Imagine, for all that fancy fringe, poppies only have 4 petals." Zoe had to count the petals a couple of times. Her eyes wanted to see 5, like the shape of the flowers she made when she doodled. But when she really focused, she saw the 4 petals. She erased the 5th petal and drew the poppy with ease. "That's weird," she said. "I thought all flowers had 5 petals. Now I see it. Poppies only have 4. Auntie smiled. "You're on your way to becoming a good scientist who learns to trust and record what they actually see, not what they want to see." They continued adding detail to their drawings while the bumblebees traveled from flower to flower, filling the warm afternoon with a steady hum of activity. Zoe suddenly heard a high-pitched buzz coming from inside one of the fat, oval flower buds. She stood to explore the intriguing new sound, sending her journal flying off her lap and onto the ground. The pale green flower bud was about the size of her thumb. It buzzed and trembled as if it wanted to open its mouth and speak. Suddenly, the protective green coat popped off, and Zoe jumped back in surprise. Once released, the red and purple petals quickly unfurled and exposed an impatient bumblebee. The bee couldn't wait for the flower to open naturally, so she had chewed her way into the bud. She was determined to be the first to feed on the new flower. But her private party didn't last. As soon as the petals opened, her fellow bumbles joined her, and she was lost in the crowd. Once Zoe lost sight of her, she sighed and turned to Auntie, grinning as if she had just finished watching a funny cartoon. "Aren't those bees hilarious?" said Auntie. "You can see why I have adopted the drama queen as my poppy. They love them almost as much as I do." She continued, "I first planted this variety a long time ago, and I adored them at first bloom. I collected their seeds that fall and replanted them in the spring. Now I do this every year so I can enjoy these poppies every summer. I've grown them for so long that they have almost become like dear friends to me." "Dear friends? Who? The poppies?" Auntie cradled one of the blossoms in her hand and nodded. "I know it seems a little strange, but when they start to bloom, it's like having a magical special friend come to visit. I enjoy them so much when they're here. They only stay for a short time, and when they're finished blooming for the season, I feel a little sad, knowing I'm not going to see them again for a whole year." Becoming friends with a flower. Zoe had to think about this. She thought you could only be friends with people. Auntie made her wonder if flowers might be the kind of friends she was looking for. She stared down at the grass in front of her and sighed. Mrs. Thomas called me a drama queen. I wasn't sure what that meant. Auntie took a deep breath and put her arm around Zoe. Why would she call you that, sweetheart? I don't know. Her lips began to tremble and her words sped up. Maybe because every time I think about all the ways the earth is in trouble, it makes me cry. I think about it a lot, and the earth is dying. She burst into tears. Where did you hear the earth is dying? Zoe's voice rose to a pitch. I hear it all the time. Pollution, climate change, extinction. The earth is dying and it's my fault. I'm a wasteful human. Fat tears rolled down her cheeks. There won't be a beautiful planet left by the time I'm a grown-up. When I cry about it, Mrs. Thomas tells me to stop being such a drama queen. She hiccuped. I don't think she means I'm a flower. But you are beautiful, Zoe, just like a poppy. What you're feeling about the earth is real, and I will never tell you it's not. But when I spend time in the garden, I hear a different story. I hear Mother Nature, who is a force much greater than us. She won't let the earth die. Auntie stroked Zoe's back. Change? Absolutely. The earth is experiencing changes that will affect us all. And the best we can do is find ways to take care of her, like growing seeds. But the earth won't die. Earth has experienced many changes over her long life, and this time is just one more of them. Zoe sniffed as Auntie continued. It's important to talk about your feelings for the earth, and I will always listen to your sad feelings, because I share a lot of them. But we're going to let the garden help us feel other things too, okay? She stopped crying and wiped her eyes with the sleeve of her sweatshirt. I can try. I don't like feeling so sad inside all the time. I know, sweetheart. Sometimes I feel sad too, but I don't seem to feel as sad when I'm in the garden. Maybe it's because these gardens are growing seeds for the future, and seeds give me hope. Zoe sat up a little straighter and brightened. I hadn't noticed it before, but you're right. I'm not usually sad when I'm in the garden either. You sure didn't seem sad when you saw the bees in the poppies. She looked toward the row of flowers. The bees were really nice, she said. That surprised me. I thought bees just wanted to sting you. Not when they're working. They might sting if they feel threatened, but if you're quiet and move slowly when you're admiring them, bees don't seem to mind being watched at all. Auntie opened her plant journal. Staring at a bee, she drew a quick oval with some simple stripes. Zoe snorted. You're not very good at drawing, Auntie. That's not the point. She labeled the little sketch. I'm not trying to make great art. I'm trying to draw pictures to record my memories. Auntie showed Zoe how to capture the movement of the bees with a few quick, short lines. Zoe wandered off on her own, sketching bumblebees in the poppies until she had filled her page. Later, after she welcomed Zoe back inside for another cup of chamomile tea, Auntie said, I have an idea. You seem to take a keen interest in the new plants and flowers you're meeting. Would you like to learn how to make sure they stay around for a long time? Zoe nodded. I'd like to, but how can I do that? Maybe becoming a seed saver is something you can do to help the planet. I've noticed that you think like a scientist. You're good at observing, recording, and asking questions. With those skills, I think you could learn to be a great seed saver. Zoe's eyes widened. I think like a scientist? Maybe, she said. I'll tell you what. When you come back next week, We'll dig a bit deeper into the topic of seed saving and see if you're interested in learning more. By the time her mom's car was in the driveway, Zoe's sadness had lifted. She ran out and hugged her mom, then opened her new sketchbook on the hood of the car to share what she had done. "Look, Mom, I'm learning to think like a scientist." She pointed out her labels. Zoe saw her mom give Auntie a questioning look, and Auntie just smiled and shrugged. In the car, Zoe heaved a sigh and relaxed into her seat. The earth might not be well, she thought, but maybe there is something I can do to help.